Pause for a moment and listen carefully. This message is not here to scare you, not here to threaten you, and not here to control you, but to reach you at a time when you might actually be ready to hear something you've been avoiding for a long time, because the truth is, there are moments in life when everything seems fine on the surface, yet deep inside you feel a quiet discomfort, a subtle signal that something isn't aligned, something isn't right, something needs your attention, and even though you may not be able to explain it clearly, you know it's there, you've felt it before, maybe late at night when everything is silent, or in the middle of a busy day when your mind suddenly drifts away and you start thinking about your life, your direction, your decisions, and the things you've been putting off, and instead of facing those thoughts, you push them aside, telling yourself you'll deal with them later, that now is not the right time, that you're not ready yet, but the truth is that later keeps moving further away, and the more you delay it, the heavier it becomes, not in the outside world but inside your mind, inside your heart, building pressure slowly until one day it becomes impossible to ignore. And that is why moments like this matter, not because they bring fear, but because they bring awareness. They give you a chance to pause and actually look at what you've been avoiding, to ask yourself honest questions without running away from the answers, to reflect on where you are right now and where you truly want to be, because if you never stop to think, you will keep moving in the same direction without realizing whether that direction is actually right for you or not, and life doesn't suddenly change on its own, it changes when you become aware of your patterns, your habits, your choices, and you decide to do something about them, even if it's just a small step at first. Because every big transformation begins with a small decision, a small shift in thinking, a small action that breaks the cycle of delay and avoidance, and maybe there is something specific in your life that this connects to right now. Maybe it's a decision you've been postponing because it feels difficult, maybe it's a responsibility you've been ignoring because it feels overwhelming, maybe it's a goal you once cared about but slowly stopped working towards. Or maybe it's simply a feeling that you are capable of more but you haven't been acting on it. Whatever it is, it hasn't disappeared, it has just been waiting for you to acknowledge it again, and ignoring it doesn't make it go away, it only delays your growth, it keeps you in the same place while time continues to move forward. And one day you might look back and realize that you had the chance to change things earlier but you chose to wait, and that is something you can avoid right now by simply choosing to be honest with yourself in this moment. Because honesty is where everything begins, not perfection, not confidence, not even clarity, but honesty, the willingness to admit what you feel, what you want, and what needs to change, and once you reach that point, everything else starts to become clearer, because clarity doesn't always come before action, sometimes it comes after you take that first step, after you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. And it's important to understand that you don't need to solve your entire life right now, you don't need to have all the answers, you don't need to make a huge dramatic move, you just need to take one step in the right direction, one step that moves you slightly closer to the person you want to become, because progress is not about speed, it's about direction, and as long as you are moving forward, even slowly, you are already changing your future, and the person you want to become is not built overnight. They are built through consistent decisions, through discipline, through awareness, through choosing growth. Even when it feels uncertain, and you have already done difficult things before, you have already faced challenges in your life, maybe not perfectly, maybe not without fear, but you did face them, and you made it through, which means you are capable of more than you sometimes give yourself credit for, and that strength is still within you. It hasn't gone anywhere. It just needs to be recognized again. And confidence doesn't come from having no fear. It comes from taking action despite fear, from proving to yourself that you can handle what comes your way, and every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you build that confidence a little more, you strengthen your ability to deal with uncertainty, and you begin to trust yourself more. And self-trust is one of the most powerful things you can develop, because when you trust yourself, you don't hesitate as much, you don't overthink every decision. You move with more clarity and intention is what separates random actions from meaningful progress, because when you act with intention, you are not just reacting to life, you are shaping it. You are deciding the direction instead of letting circumstances decide it for you, and that is what this moment is really about, not fear, not urgency, but awareness and choice, the choice to stop ignoring what matters, the choice to face what you've been avoiding, the choice to take responsibility for your own growth, and the choice to move forward even if the path is not completely clear yet, because clarity often comes as you walk the path, not before you start it, and waiting for everything to feel perfect will only keep you stuck, while taking action, even imperfect action, will move you forward, and as you move forward, you will learn, you will adjust, you will improve, and slowly, things will start to make more sense. And you will begin to see progress, not instantly, not magically, but steadily. And that steady progress is what creates real change over time, and it also important to remember that your life belongs to you, your decisions belong to you, and you don't need anyone else's permission to improve your life, to make better choices, or to change your direction, because at the end of the day, you are the one who lives with the results of your decisions, and the future you experience will be shaped by what you choose to do now, not by what you think about doing, not by what you plan to do someday, but by what you actually do, and that is why this moment matters. Because it gives you a chance to shift from thinking to acting, from avoiding to facing, from waiting to moving, and you don't need to rush, you don't need to panic, you just need to be aware, to be honest, and to take that first step, and once you do, you will realize that things are not as impossible as they seemed, that you are more capable than you thought, and that progress is possible. Step by step, moment by moment, decision by decision, and as you continue to make better choices, you will start to see changes in your life, in your mindset, in your confidence, in your direction, and those changes will build on each other, creating momentum, and momentum makes everything easier, because once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving, and that is how transformation happens, not in one big dramatic moment, but in a series of small, consistent actions that you choose to take. And it all starts with a simple decision, the decision to stop ignoring what matters and start doing something, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, and whatever that is, do it, because your future is not built on intentions, it is built on actions, and the action you take today, no matter how small, has the power to shape everything that comes next. Ties time go a little deeper, because the moment you become aware of what needs to change, the next challenge begins, and that is not the outside world, but your own mind, the part of you that will try to pull you back into comfort, into delay, into excuses, telling you that it's not the right time, that you should wait a little longer, that things might fix themselves. But deep down you already know that nothing truly changes until you decide to change it, and this is where most people stop. Not because they can't move forward, but because they choose not to, because moving forward requires effort, discipline, and the willingness to step into uncertainty, and uncertainty feels uncomfortable, it makes you question yourself, it makes you hesitate, but that hesitation is exactly what keeps you stuck in the same place, repeating the same patterns, thinking the same thoughts, and expecting different results, and the truth is, if you want something different, you have to start doing something different, even if it feels small, even if it feels imperfect, because perfection is not the requirement, action is, and the moment you take that first real step, something shifts inside you, not dramatically, not instantly, but enough to break the cycle of inaction, enough to prove to yourself that you are capable of moving forward, and once that shift happens, you begin to see things differently. You begin to realize that the fear was not as big as it felt, that the step you avoided was not as difficult as you imagined, and that your mind often exaggerates the challenge before you even face it, and this realization gives you strength, not loud strength, but quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that grows through experience, and as you continue to move forward, step by step, you start building momentum. And momentum is powerful because it makes the next step easier than the last one, it creates a rhythm where action becomes natural. Instead of forced, and slowly, without even realizing it, you start becoming a different version of yourself, someone who doesn't just think about change but actually creates it, someone who doesn't run from responsibility but faces it, someone who doesn't wait for the perfect moment but uses the present moment, and this transformation doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from consistent small decisions repeated over time, decisions to stay focused, to stay disciplined, to stay aware. Even when distractions appear, even when motivation fades, because motivation is temporary but discipline is what keeps you moving, and this is where real growth happens, not in moments of excitement, but in moments of consistency, when you choose to keep going even when it feels ordinary, even when no one is watching, even when results are not immediate, because those are the moments that build strength, that build character, that build the foundation for long-term success, and as you continue on this path, you will also start noticing changes in how you think, you will question your old habits, you will become more aware of your decisions, you will start choosing what aligns with your goals instead of what feels easy in the moment, and this awareness gives you control, real control, not over everything that happens around you, but over how you respond to it, and that is where your true power lies. Not in controlling circumstances, but in controlling your reactions, your choices, your direction. And once you understand this, you stop feeling like life is happening to you and start realizing that you are shaping it, step by step, decision by decision. And yes, there will still be challenges, there will still be moments of doubt, moments when things don't go as planned, but the difference now is that you won't stop, you won't go back to ignoring what matters, because you have already taken the first step. And once you take that step, you cannot unsee what you have realized. You cannot go back to being unaware, and that awareness will keep pushing you forward, reminding you of what you are capable of, reminding you that growth is a process, not an instant result, and that every step you take, no matter how small, is building something bigger, something stronger, something more aligned with your true potential. So take another breath, stay focused, and keep moving. Because the journey you have started is not just about changing your situation, it is about changing yourself, and once you change yourself, everything around you begins to change with you. Take another moment and go even deeper, because by now you've started moving, you've broken the silence of inaction, but this is where the real test begins, not outside, but within you, in your consistency, in your discipline, in your ability to keep going when the excitement fades and things start to feel normal again, because the truth is, starting is easy compared to continuing. And most people don't fail because they lack ability, they fail because they stop, they lose focus, they fall back into old habits, they let distractions take over, and slowly they return to the same place they once decided to leave. And that is why this phase matters so much, because this is where you decide whether this change is temporary or permanent, whether this is just a moment of motivation or the beginning of a new way of living. And to make it permanent, you have to shift your mindset from short-term excitement to long-term discipline. You have to understand that progress is not always visible, that results take time, and that patience is just as important as action, because without patience, you will start doubting your efforts, you will start questioning whether it's working, and that doubt can pull you back if you are not aware of it. But if you stay focused, if you remind yourself why you started, if you keep taking small steps consistently, then something powerful begins to happen. You build trust in yourself. Not based on feelings, but based on actions. You start proving to yourself that you can follow through, that you can stay committed, that you are not the same person who used to give up easily, and that self-trust becomes your strength. It becomes the foundation of everything you do, because when you trust yourself, you don't hesitate as much, you don't overthink every move, you act with clarity, with intention, with control, and this is where your identity starts to change. You are no longer someone who avoids challenges, you are someone who faces them. You are no longer someone who waits for the right moment, you create it, and this shift in identity is more powerful than any external success, because once you become this person, success becomes a natural result of your actions, not something you chase. And along the way, you will notice that your environment starts to feel different too, not because everything around you has changed instantly, but because your perception has changed. You start seeing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You start focusing on solutions instead of problems, and this mindset allows you to move forward with more confidence and less fear. And even when setbacks happen, and they will, you won't see them as failures, you will see them as part of the process, as lessons that guide you, not stop you. And this perspective keeps you moving, it keeps you growing, it keeps you aligned with your path, and the more you continue like this, the stronger you become mentally, emotionally, and even in your actions. Because strength is built through repetition, through showing up again and again, even when it's not easy, even when it's not exciting, even when it feels like nothing is changing, because in those quiet moments, when no one is watching, when progress feels slow, that is when the real work is happening, that is when you are building something that lasts, something that cannot be shaken easily. And over time, those small consistent actions will start showing results, maybe not all at once, but gradually. And when you look back, you will realize how far you've come, how much you've changed, how different your thinking has been. Change for a moment, but to become someone who naturally moves forward, who naturally grows, who naturally chooses better. And as you continue on this path, remember one thing clearly: you are in control of your direction, not your past, not your fears, not your doubts, but your choices, your actions, your mindset, and every day you get a new chance to choose better, to act better, to think better. And those daily choices shape your future, step by step, moment by moment, and the person you are becoming is being built right now, through what you decide to do next. So stay aware, stay disciplined, stay consistent, and keep moving forward, because what you are building is not just progress, it is a new version of yourself, stronger, clearer, and fully in control of where you are going. Take one more moment and steady your mind, because now you are entering a phase where your growth starts becoming real, visible, and tested by the world around you, and this is where many people either rise or fall, not because of lack of ability, but because of how they handle progress. Because when things begin to change, when you start improving, when your actions become stronger and your mindset becomes clearer, new challenges also appear, new responsibilities, new expectations, and sometimes even new distractions, and if you are not careful, these can pull you away from the path you have built so far, which is why awareness becomes even more important at this stage, because growth is not just about moving forward, it is about staying aligned while you move forward. It is about not losing yourself in the process, not letting ego take over when you see progress, not letting doubt return when you face difficulty, but instead staying balanced, staying grounded, and continuing to act with the same discipline that brought you here, because the moment you become careless, the moment you think you've done enough, that is when you start slipping back without even realizing it, and that is why consistency is not just a habit, it is a responsibility to yourself, to the version of you that decided to change, to the effort you have already put in, and to the future you are building step by step. And as you continue, you will also notice that not everyone around you will understand your growth. Some people may question it, some may doubt it, some may even try to pull you back into your old patterns, not always intentionally, but simply because they are used to the old version of you, and this is where your focus is tested, because you cannot allow external noise to break your internal clarity. You cannot let others define your direction, because this journey is yours, your growth is yours, your decisions are yours, and you have to protect that, not aggressively, but with quiet confidence, by staying committed to what you know is right for you, and at the same time, you must also learn to handle success with maturity, because success, even small success, can change your mindset if you are not careful. It can make you overconfident, it can make you lose focus, it can make you forget the discipline that got you here. And that is why staying humble is just as important as staying strong, because humility keeps you learning, it keeps you improving, it keeps you open to growth, while ego closes your mind and slows your progress. And as you move further, you will realize that real power is not loud, it is quiet, it is controlled, it is consistent, it shows in your actions, not in your words, and people will start noticing it, not because you try to show it, but because it becomes part of who you are. And this is where your transformation becomes complete, not when everything around you changes, but when you change so deeply that no situation can easily shake you, no challenge can easily stop you, and no distraction can easily pull you away, because you are no longer acting randomly, you are acting with intention, with clarity, with purpose, and that purpose becomes your guide. It keeps you moving forward even when things get difficult, even when results take time, even when the path is not perfectly clear. Because you trust yourself now, you trust your ability to adapt, to learn, to grow, and that trust is what gives you true confidence, not temporary confidence based on outcomes, but real confidence based on who you have become. And as you stand at this point, take a breath and realize how far you've come, how much you've changed, how much stronger your thinking has become, and understand that this is not the end, this is just another level, another step in your journey, and what you do next will continue to shape your future. So stay aware, stay disciplined, stay grounded, and keep moving forward with the same clarity and strength that brought you here. Because now you are not just changing your life, you are leading it. Resist. Nothing to force. Take another slow breath. Allow clarity to deepen quietly. Allow stillness to stabilize naturally. Allow awareness to unfold effortlessly. Everything flowing gently. Everything moving naturally. Everything resting within awareness. Opportunity, greater influence, and a life shaped deliberately rather than accidentally. This is not an exaggerated promise, it is the natural outcome of behavior repeated consistently over time. Continue clicking forward, continue acting with intention, continue honoring your decisions, and allow discipline to quietly deliver what motivation never could: stability, strength, clarity, control, and a future built by choice rather than chance. To awareness, to return to responsibility, and to return to the part of yourself that knows you are capable of more than avoidance, more than excuses, and more than fear. More whole, not because everything is perfect, but because you are learning to accept yourself as you are while still believing in who you are becoming. And this balance between acceptance and growth is the quiet strength that carries you through uncertainty, reminding you that you are not lost, you are learning, not failing, you are evolving, and not alone, you are supported by your own resilience, your own awareness, and your own capacity to rise, again and again, with greater understanding and steadier hope. Faithfulness, the faithfulness to show up, to listen, to speak honestly, and to act with compassion, and in this faithfulness, the deepest form of loss is prevented, not by changing fate, but by honoring the present, and not by fighting time, but by using it wisely, because what truly keeps something alive is not hope alone, but attention, not intention alone, but action, and not emotion alone, but the steady choice to care before it is too late to make a difference. You stay present with what matters now. You act thoughtfully. You rest intentionally. You move forward with calm assurance. Remain here for a moment. Let this understanding settle. You continue to refine how you show up, calmer, clearer, more intentional. You don't rush growth. You respect its rhythm. You remain present with what's unfolding now. You move forward with care. You stay grounded in yourself. Let this calm support you. Breathe steadily. Moving whether you act or not, but only your actions decide whether you grow or remain where you are. This is not a warning to scare you, it is a reminder to empower you, to shake you awake, and to tell you that the power to change has always been in your hands. Start now, not because you feel ready, but because your future deserves your effort today. Closure.it holds awareness captive. Take another slow breath. Notice how thoughts now feel slightly suspended, held between curiosity and anticipation. Take another slow breath, because the mind senses when something feels significant even without clarity. Take another slow breath. Remain here. Remain aware, and observe how deeply this unresolved mystery now occupies your attention. You walk forward knowing that you were created with intention, that you are capable of achieving more than you can currently see, and that the universe is preparing beautiful things that will align perfectly with your growth. You are meant to rise, meant to shine, meant to impact the world simply by being yourself. Continue your journey with hope in your heart and confidence in your spirit, because the best chapters of your life are not behind you, they are waiting ahead.